Well, after creating my first list of things that coaster enthusiasts love to complain about, I got a ton of positive feedback. Go figure. Many insisted that my first list was too short and I should have included way more problems and complaints. So, like a good YouTuber, I went through harvesting the best of the remaining things we love to complain about to bring you today's video. Now, there are many things that we could talk about, so if I missed something that should have been discussed, let me know about it in the comments below. Maybe there'll be enough good topics to warrant yet another video, who knows. Alright, let's get to our first pick. Inconsistent policies. Yeah, I think this one has gathered a lot of attention this past year. Not only do every park have their own policies, which I would expect, and that's not really the issue. No, the issue is that when a park has multiple rules that differ depending on each ride. For example, Cedar Point. Steel Vengeance has the strictest rules, no loose articles are allowed with you in line. Maverick, you can have loose articles, but you must keep them in a secured pocket or use the storage containers that are available for you in the station. Top Thrill Dragster, must use a locker, but you can bring items with you as long as it can be secured, like a zipper pocket because there are no storage cubbies in the station. Iron Dragon, I think everything is allowed to go with you on the ride because they will have you put your bag in between your legs. I just went over a few roller coasters and they all have their own policy in regards to loose articles. Talk about confusion, especially if you're not accustomed to these types of rules. I know that every roller coaster varies in intensity, thus why you can't bring anything with you on Steel Vengeance, and you really shouldn't bring anything with you on Top Thrill Dragster, but why not find a way to streamline the process so every ride, well, almost every ride, can follow the same procedure. I know I'm picking on Cedar Point the most with this complaint, but many other parks have inconsistent policies, so in other words, make sure to read up on all the rules before visiting any theme park. Locker fees. Using the policy complaint as a springboard, we bounce over to similar but yet different issue, locker fees. I know it's understandable that a park would want you to remove all loose articles. I mean, they can turn into a hazard causing bodily harm to you or others around you. But if the park cannot make accommodations for you to leave your items in the station, they should at least provide lockers at no charge. Talk about a buzzkill when you walk over to El Toro, only to be greeted by their locker policy that will put you back a couple dollars. So, it's a couple dollars, who cares, right? Well, I do. They're essentially turning a ride that you already paid to enjoy by purchasing park admission, but now you are being forced to throw a little more cash their way so you can actually board the ride you already paid for. To me, it's the principle of it all. Cedar Point does the same thing with Steel Vengeance. You must purchase a locker, which I think is like $3 if you want to ride the roller coaster. Now, there are parks that do this right. Hershey Park will provide you free lockers up to a limited amount of time. If you exceed that limit, you will be stuck with a fee to retrieve your items. I can understand the fee in that situation, as it will help you remember to get your items, but chances though you won't be walking too far away without reaching for that cell phone that isn't in your pocket. Closed attractions. This is an annoying one for sure. You make arrangements well in advance, traveling halfway across the country, only then to be greeted at the very last moment to a ride closed sign. Majority of the time, this is a situation that is out of the park's hands. The ride broke down and they are doing their best to fix it, or in a worse scenario, they are waiting on a part from the manufacturer. In the case of Skyrocket at Kennywood, apparently the part that they were waiting on was being shipped via someone walking across Europe and then using a rowboat to cross the Atlantic, because that ride was closed for well over a year. Lightning Rod at Dollywood, especially in its early years of operation, would send many coaster enthusiasts away crying as their ride was not open. I think the biggest ride closure I experienced was X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Not even a few days before I made it to California, the chain lift suffered a malfunction that left the coaster down for a few months. So I've been discussing roller coasters that have been closed because of maintenance issues. It's understandable and a fact of life. However, the greatest sin is when the ride is in perfect operation, but the park decides not to open your favorite attraction because they are not busy enough, or they just don't know how to manage their property to get enough park staff to operate their attractions. When I was at Nickelodeon Universe in the American Dream Mall, TMNT Shellraiser was closed for the first couple hours of the day, which made 0 sense. This is your star attraction, and you think that a staggered operating schedule would make sense? Who knows? Someone telling incorrect coaster facts. Let's leave the parks alone for a bit and harass our friends instead. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone and the topic of roller coasters came up? You're a coaster nerd, so obviously this answer is a yes. Well, that person, friend, family member, etc. decides that they're going to tell you all the deets about their favorite roller coaster, and everything that they say is incorrect. If you're like me, I start to die a little inside with every incorrect fact that they spew out of their mouth. Sometimes I'll try to correct them, but it's usually a fool's errand. They'll either want to challenge you on it, saying, nope, you're wrong, Valraven is the tallest roller coaster in the world because I heard it on the news, or the second option is they stare at you like you're insane. It's a lose-lose situation where I just keep my mouth shut and hope that we steer the conversation in another direction where everyone knows what they're talking about. Well, I hope they know what they're talking about. Cloned roller coasters. It's not that I hate cloned attractions, it's just disappointing when you are visiting a park for the first time and you've basically ridden every roller coaster there since they're all cloned roller coasters. I'm looking at you, Six Flags. Sure, there can be some differences that will help provide some variety. A good example would be Tempesto and Phobia Fear coaster. Both are Skyrocket 2 models, except Tempesto has comfort collars and Phobia Fear does not. The train is also one car longer on Tempesto, so the forces will be a little more intense in that back row. However, when you come across a Vekoma SLC or a Boomerang, you know what you're getting. The restraints might be a little different, possibly the version with the vest restraints, but personally I don't think it makes a huge difference to warrant a trip out to such park to ride another Boomerang or Vekoma SLC. Batman the Ride is another famously cloned roller coaster. As great of a roller coaster that it may be, it's still a clone coaster that I've ridden multiple times at other parks, so it's another disappointment, especially when I know the park could have gone with a unique original layout. Alright, the number one complaint is
one train up.
The greatest sin of all. Imagine yourself heading to your favorite park, ready to get multiple rides on your favorite roller coaster. As you are parking your car, you notice that the parking lot isn't full, so you get excited, knowing you should be able to score multiple rides on your favorite roller coaster. Well, you're at the ride entrance, and to your dismay, they're only running one train. A wait that could have been a walk-on has now turned into a 45-minute wait or worse. During my only trip to Lake Compounce, I was greeted to one train ops on Boulder Dash. And well, technically every roller coaster there was operating one train because, well, majority of them can only function with one roller coaster train. As far as I know, Wildcat only has one train, but man, that really could use a second one. Boulder Dash has the capabilities of operating two trains, but for some reason the park thought that they could get away with only running one train. For those who have never ridden this roller coaster, Boulder Dash is a long ride. Operations were dispatching a train about every 7 to 10 minutes, which isn't good to say the least. A wait time that could have been 15 minutes turned into a considerably longer time. Now, as much as we hate to admit it, there is a reason why an amusement park doesn't put all the trains on the track every day of operation. When the crowds aren't really that busy, like during my last visit to Cedar Point in October, it was raining and no one was there, the majority of the roller coasters were operating with one train. Saving on the wear and tear of each train makes financial sense, but when the park is busy and we still see this practice in play, that's when I call foul. Unfortunately, I have witnessed this too many times at Kennywood with Phantom's Revenge, and also their new roller coaster Steel Curtain. The line can be very long and they're only operating one train. Now I do know for Steel Curtain they were having issues with their second train, but with Phantom's Revenge, when the line fills the entire queue, you know it's time to put on that second train. Well, that concludes another list of things coaster enthusiasts love to complain about. Did I touch on your favorite topic of complaint? Let me know all about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, show your support by hitting that like button and subscribe. That way you will continue to get great content brought to you by X-Scream Thrills.